Hey guys, welcome back. It's Free Tip Friday. This week's tip is how to remove savage dents from your projects, because nobody wants to look at a dent, and dents happen. So for those of you who don't know how to remove dents from a piece of wood, it's as simple as steaming your tie. In fact, it's the exact same process. Some of you guys are like, I don't wear a tie, and honestly, I don't wear a tie but once or twice a year myself. So you might not know how to steam a tie, but what you do is you put your tie down on your ironing board and you get a damp rag, you put it over top of your tie, and then you iron that sucker, and the steam from the rag penetrates, removes the wrinkles. Well, it's the same process with wood. So I've got some really minor dents right here that I'm just going to steam up and then sand flush. But you probably can't even see them in the camera because they're so small, and I'm just doing them before I finish the wood with my lacquer coat. So I'm just going to take a hammer and just dent this piece of wood. So there's a nice dent. It's about 1/16 of an inch. So let's just zoom in on that. Now you can see the dents right there. You're probably thinking, what an idiot. Why did you dent that piece of wood? Well, look, I just did 2 dents. All right, so we got 2 hammer dents in there, which sucks. Nobody wants to see that. So you got your iron right here. Now you want your rag to be like really, really damp. So I even take a bit of water. If you can squeeze a few drips out. Saturate the dented area really good. And you set your rag on there. I got mine folded in half, so it's 2 plies, and then just let that steam go to work. This is like an old school flat bottom iron, and this thing pumps out the heat. Up. Oh no, I'm fogging out the lens. Floater. All right, so as you can see, the wood is discolored a little bit, which you can sand that out. But you can also see that there are no dents. You can faintly see the line where the edge of the hammer dent was, and this one here. But that worked pretty well. I can easily sand that now, and you will never see those dents. All right, and there you have it. Some sanding required. Just gonna iron the wood here to dry up any residual moisture. Get some heat in that wood. Make sure that you do dry the wood really well and then sand it. You have to sand over the area. Anything that was touched with water before you apply any stain, if you just let it dry and then put the stain on, what the water does is it opens up the pores of the wood, and it takes the stain differently than the rest of the wood that's been sanded. So if you touch anything with water or damp rag or wiping or cleaning anything off, make sure that you re-sand that area so that it takes your finish the same as the rest of the piece. Okay? It's a bonus tip for you. Double bonus tip. If you're ever working with notches, especially in wood that's prone to cracking, like Doug fir here, there's a simple way to strengthen that. And on the bottom side of your tenon, especially if the tenons are low to the ground and you're not going to see it, I would drill a hole, countersink a hole, and then sink a screw in there. I know you're thinking, the samurai, you're not allowed to use screws. Well, sometimes it's just smart. Now when I put this notched tenon through a piece of wood and I wedge it down in there, this won't be prone to crack as easily. Right along that weak point, this would be the weakest point of the tenon right there. So if you're doing like half laps and big beams and stuff like that, or you're working, where you're close to the end grain right there, it's always good to tuck a few little hidden lag bolts or screws in and plug them. Nobody ever knows. And if somebody tries to come modify your work down the road and they run the saw into that screw, that'll teach them to friggin' mess with your work. That's your tip for this week. I hope it just blew your mind. If not, maybe next week will. Okay, make sure you're subscribed, like the video, share it with your tool nerd friends, and until next time, Samurai out.